You wake up one morning, swing your legs over the side of the bed, and before you even stand up, your lower back is already talking to you. Not a sharp pain necessarily, just that dull, deep ache that tells you something is off. You know the feeling. You go through your day holding yourself together, literally, bracing every time you have to pick something up off the floor, shifting your weight awkwardly when you stand too long, and quietly dreading the moments that should be completely ordinary. Climbing stairs, lifting groceries, playing with your kids or your grandkids on the floor. These things feel heavier than they should. That is not normal. But because it has become your normal, you have stopped questioning it. Here is the truth that most people never hear. That back pain, that instability, that constant low-level exhaustion from just existing in your own body, it is almost never about your back. It is about what is underneath it. It is about a weak core that was never actually trained to do its real job. And before we go any further, I want you to know something important. There is a program linked down below in the video description. People who have already gone through it are saying it changed things they thought were just permanent parts of getting older. I am not going to pressure you. If you are the kind of person who is fine with feeling like this for another 6 months or another year, this is probably not for you. But if some part of you is tired of managing the symptoms while never actually fixing the source, keep watching and then check that link when you are ready. Now let me actually show you what is happening inside your body, because once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Your core is not your six-pack. I need you to hear that again. Your core is not the muscle in the mirror. Your core is an entire system of deep muscles that wrap around your spine, your pelvis, your hips, and your rib cage. These muscles work together like a pressure system, like a canister of stability that keeps everything locked and loaded so your limbs can move freely and powerfully without your spine absorbing all the shock. When this system is working properly, you feel it in everything. You feel effortless. You walk differently. You carry yourself differently. You lift things without thinking about it. You do not run out of energy just from standing at the kitchen counter. When this system is weak, which is the reality for the vast majority of people who sit for most of the day, your body starts compensating. And here's where it gets really important. Compensation feels invisible at first. Your brain is brilliant at borrowing stability from other places. Your hip flexors tighten up to brace your spine. Your lower back muscles go into a constant state of low-grade contraction to keep you upright. Your shoulders creep up toward your ears. Your neck gets tense. And none of this feels like a core problem. It feels like a back problem, a hip problem, a shoulder problem, a fatigue problem. You end up chasing the symptoms, seeing specialists for the wrong things, spending money on treatments that give you temporary relief but never address what is actually driving the problem. This goes on for years for most people. Years of discomfort, years of avoiding things, years of quietly scaling back your life without even realizing you are doing it. Can I be honest with you about something? The workouts that most people do are making this worse, not better. Sit-ups and crunches, the things we were all taught to do, they train the surface, they train the muscles that show up on social media. They do not train the deep stabilizers. They do not train the transverse abdominis, the multifidus, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm working together as a system. So people spend months doing crunches and wondering why their back still hurts, why they still feel unstable, why their posture is still falling apart by the end of the day. The research is not ambiguous on this. Studies consistently show that targeted deep core training significantly reduces chronic low back pain and improves functional performance in ways that general exercise does not. We are talking about measurable improvements in stability, balance, and pain reduction that people report within weeks of training the right muscles in the right way. Stop. I want you to think about something for a second. What would it actually mean for your daily life if you woke up and your back did not hurt? Not just a little less. Not managed. Actually fine. What would you do differently today, this week? Would you take that walk you have been putting off? Would you get on the floor with someone you love without that mental calculation about how difficult it will be to get back up? This is not about aesthetics. This is about your actual life, the things you want to do, the moments you want to be present for. And right now, a weak core is stealing those moments from you quietly and consistently, one small avoidance at a time. Here is what real core stability actually looks like when it is trained properly. Your spine finds its natural position without effort. Not because you are thinking about standing up straight, but because the muscles holding you there are finally strong enough to do it automatically. Your breathing changes, because your diaphragm, which is a core muscle people almost never hear about, starts functioning as a pressure regulator the way it is supposed to. Athletes know this. The best coaches in the world know that breathing mechanics and core stability are completely inseparable. You breathe better, your core works better. Your core works better, you breathe better. Your hip flexors release tension they have been holding for years because they no longer have to fill in for your deep stabilizers. This alone changes how you walk, how you run, how you climb stairs, how you sleep. People who go through this process report something that surprises them almost every time. They say they feel younger, not in a vague motivational sense, in a literal physical sense. They say things feel easier than they have in years. They pick up their child, and they do not brace. They carry bags in from the car, and they do not think about it. They sit through a long meeting or a long car ride, and they get out without that stiff, locked-up feeling that used to take 20 minutes to shake off. One person described it as feeling like someone took weight off their body that they did not even know they were carrying. That is what is waiting on the other side of this. But here is where I am going to ask you to be honest with yourself for a moment, because this is important. If you have been dealing with this for a long time and you have tried things before that did not work, I understand the skepticism. I want you to hold on to that skepticism actually. Because the answer here is not to just try harder at the wrong things. The answer is to finally train the right system in the right order with the right progression. Most people fail at core training not because they lack discipline. They fail because nobody ever showed them what they were actually trying to build or why. They were handed exercises with no context, no progression, no understanding of how the system works together. So they do the exercises for a few weeks, do not notice dramatic results, and quit. That is not a character flaw. That is an information problem. Once you understand that your core is a pressure system, once you understand that the deep muscles need to be activated before the surface muscles can work properly, once you understand that there is a specific sequence to how this training needs to happen, everything changes. The exercises start making sense. The results start appearing. And you stop feeling like you are fighting your body and start feeling like you are finally working with it. The human body wants to be stable. It was designed for it. The only reason it is not is because the way we live today, the sitting, the screen time, the repetitive movements, the lack of varied physical demand, has systematically switched off the deep stabilizers. They are not gone. They are dormant. And they respond extraordinarily fast when they are finally trained correctly. We are talking about people who have felt instability and pain for years starting to feel genuine improvement within the first 2 to 3 weeks. Not because they are doing anything extreme, because they are finally doing the right things. There is a compounding effect to this that I want you to understand. When your core is stable, your other training becomes more effective. Every movement you make, every workout you do, every physical activity in your life draws on that deep foundation. So strengthening it does not just fix the specific problem, it upgrades everything else. Your strength goes up, your endurance improves, your recovery gets faster. You move better across the board because the foundation everything is built on is finally solid. This is what athletes pay thousands of dollars to have coaches build for them. This is what physical therapists spend years studying. And this information is now accessible to anybody who wants it. Now, I want to come back to that program in the description because I said I would only mention it twice, and I want to use this moment well. Here is the only thing I want you to understand. Most people will watch this video, feel genuinely motivated, maybe feel something shift in their understanding, and then they will close the tab and do nothing. Not because they do not care. Because taking action on new information requires a decision point, and without structure, that moment passes. The program in the description exists to be that structure. It is the thing that takes everything we have talked about today and puts it into a sequence you can actually follow. People who have been through it are not the exception. They are the expectation when the right system is applied. The link is there. The decision is yours. But that window where you feel the pull to actually change something, that window is right now. This is it. Do not let this be another thing you meant to look into.